So I've got XAMPP installed, and you guys either have got it installed or you're in the process. XAMPP it gives you this development platform. So it gives you a server and it gives you a backend database. It also gives you an FTP facility. What this means is, if you need to simulate a server, so when you start creating dynamic pages, you need a server. For example, if you have a database in the backend, a server has to fetch it, and you need a server-side language like PHP. So this facilitates it. It's called an AMP stack: Apache, MySQL, PHP. There are many development environments, several, and this gives you a server, this gives you a database. And when I get into databases, I'll talk more about the types of databases and how large they can get and so on. But for today, we are getting into dynamic pages. We're just taking our initial steps. So we have got XAMPP, and I'm going to start these. I've got a password set up for mine. I don't think you'll have one. Okay, so we leave the password for now, just until we can get used to it. And then once you set up a password, or when we get to hosting our site externally, a database will come with a login and password.
Can it only be used to host a site, or can you use to host like a bunch of things on a particular server?
A server can host anything, and largely databases really. So when you talk about big companies, they just have thousands of servers. They're just having data, hosting data, processing data. So the real-time data that you get when you type something in Google, it's actually got database tables across several servers across the globe, and it sort of says, okay, Aiden is somewhere in the Brisbane region, so it uses the server around you to pick up search results that are relevant to you, and it uses the servers that are closer to you to process your request. So it actually has a very large complex network of master and slave servers. So one master gets the request, tells the slave servers to process it, and then gives it back to you. So you need a server to host your website anyway, because your website has to be available 24/7. If you host it on your machine, you close your machine, your website is off. So you need a server which is live all the time, and that's why people buy hosting service. So that's what a hosting service does. It has got a computer that's live all the time. When the computer goes down, they've got automatic backup systems, and that's what you pay for. Two free hosting is a smaller service. I don't know whether it makes revenue from advertisements. It probably does, but it's a nice way to test your websites without having to spend money until you actually buy a good web host. And I think two free hosting also has a commercial uh, option pricing model, which means once you're happy with the server, you can actually say, yep, I'll pay you money and do it. So anyway, today I've just started the server, and let's get cracking on this. For today, I just need the server to make an HTTP request, make Chrome read an HTTP request, because Chrome is really bad with reading HTTP requests. Now I want to show you something. Normally, when you work using servers, in your folder, C drive or D drive, anybody who has installed it, can you go to your XAMPP folder? Go to your XAMPP folder, and under XAMPP you will find htdocs. Now under htdocs, you can put your files, and that's what, if you are reading stuff from a database, it must be here in htdocs. Today's exercise, we are only reading an XML file, so we just want Chrome to be able to pass a request to load a XML file to the server. So today's exercise is not important, but for every PHP exercise, to run your files, because PHP is processed by a server, it's a server-side language. JavaScript is a client-side language. It is processed by the machine we are working on. You can see the source on this machine. PHP, you will never see the source. Although you have PHP code, when you see the source, you see HTML, right, Dimitri? You have done your PHP.
Yeah.
So when you do right-click and view source, all the PHP is gone.
Yeah.
That's because the server has processed the commands that you gave it, interpreted them as HTML, and dished out a page. So the PHP is eradicated at the server end. That's what makes it more secure. The server has taken care of it. So what you wrote in the PHP code is not available to anybody who views the source. And Muruj had a question, can we do a quiz using JavaScript? Yes, we can. But if you do a quiz using JavaScript, you are putting the quiz answers in the JavaScript. which are available when you view source. Even if you actually put it as an external JavaScript, it will give you a link. And to understand that, let me sort of pull out a jQuery example.
Ways you can just look at the job, like the scripting.
Yeah, if you do it in JavaScript, you're going to store it somewhere inside the JavaScript, isn't it?
Find an online quiz, see if it works.
So, but if an online quiz, a good online quiz, will always store the data in a database and will use PHP. So I'll just try and get a file. For example, let me go to my desktop. Let me go to IDM interactive tool. Let me go to jQuery mobile, and let me just, because I have some JavaScript in here. So if I actually go here and I say view zoom tools developer. Don't have it here, maybe here. View source. So you see, even if you put it as an external JavaScript, you see this line here, this is a link. Okay, that's an external JavaScript, and we will be doing that today. So this link here, you see this Muruj? This link here is an external JavaScript. If I click on it, it will try to load that JavaScript within this browser. And even if it doesn't, I know where my script is stored. So I can take it and I can say, okay, it's going to be stored somewhere here under jQuery mobile in a new root, and see, that's my JavaScript. So I can sort of load up my JavaScript if I want to. And once I have it, I mean, it's not about being able to read or not. The thing is, now I have it. It's up to my patience and diligence to hack it. And that's what the biggest issue is, even with security. Now they are saying that the Russians have stored about 1.2 billion passwords. It is potentially the data that they hold can give them access to potentially a billion passwords. It doesn't mean they have a billion passwords right now. So, for example, when Adobe data was stolen, when LinkedIn data was stolen, they had the potential to get the passwords. And I know that I had used my LinkedIn password on my Amazon account, and they had the same password. So, and my email details were there. So when LinkedIn data got stolen, I thought, oh, it must be encrypted. So I read about it in the news. And after about 2 months, somebody started buying books, Kindle books. And they were a bit sort of adult kind of books. And I got a Kindle, and suddenly the books start popping up on your device. So when I went in, I saw these books popping up. And as I was asking my daughter, one more book popped up. And I realized, okay, somebody's into my account, called up Amazon, got the books removed, reset my password. But I realized that the LinkedIn data that was stolen, eventually it was used in my case. So just stealing the data didn't mean anything until they actually decrypted the password. And you can encrypt it, you can hash it, you can do a lot of things, but still unhashing is still possible. Anyway, so the server side makes it a bit more secure. Not that it is immune to a hack, but much more secure than client side. So with that as a starting point today, let us go, and today you don't need to put things in your um, htdocs folder. Okay, so today we can do it, and you can see I've got sites. This is actually this shortcut sites. It is sitting under htdocs. So if I say show enclosing folder, if I actually go to application XAMPP htdocs, you'll see the sites folder is sitting here. All of my sites are sitting here. Okay, let's look at today's exercise. Today's exercise, the first thing that we need in today's exercise, I'm just going to close all of this. I don't need this. I don't need this. Actually, I don't need anything from here. I need this server to stay. I'll leave this open in case somebody else comes. I'll quit Chrome for now. What else is there? Yeah, let's look at Dreamweaver. And I don't need terminal, so I'm going to quit terminal. The first thing that we need today, and let me go to my IDM Web 2 JavaScript XML tasty burger. In today's exercise, the main hero for today is this. Under XML folder, I've got site.xml. Okay, this is the main hero for today's exercise. Site.xml. You can see I have got both my data here. Okay, start site, end site. Cool. Now inside site I've got my burgers. Burger start, burger end. Burger start, burger end. I've got X number of burgers, Y number of rolls, and that's just a comment. You know, the same comment that you use in HTML is a comment in any XML language. Inside every burger or roll, I say this is my picture, this is my name, this is my description, this is my price. It's data. I've stored the data. Okay. Picture, start picture, end picture, name, end name, description, end description, price, end price. And then I also got my roles here in the same XML file, because I can tell the JavaScript that, hey, get the burgers and put them in one page, get the roles and put them in the other page. Okay. So that's something we're going to do. So any questions about this XML file by itself? Okay. It just got tags that we make up. It doesn't matter what you make up, as long as you address them and as long as you stick to the case sensitivity of it. So when you, it was easier for me to sort of recognize them. You can see in HTML. No, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It's just makes it. The reason many people use it, I think, is because it just makes it easier to see the tags. Yeah. Okay. So, any questions about this XML file? Cool. Are we good? Okay, let's go. So that's the main hero. Now you can see I have just put the picture here. Now Dimitri likes to put images slash. You can do that. Doesn't matter. But I just put the picture name because I might change my folder name. I might call images photos, you know, and it's okay if you are going to call it and you can put it there. But I have not. That doesn't mean you don't have to. So that's one character for today. That's the main hero. Let's look at the other elements for today. Now, of course, because I have referred to images, I have got my images which are better than Aiden's. My burgers, my rolls, of course, any day. So tasty burgers, much better shop. Yeah, cool. So I have got my images. Of course, I need images. Now I'm a bit of a Nazi with my size. So every single image is of the same size. I take it to Photoshop and I resize it. I'm just a bit anal about it, you know.
You actually find these photos.
Yeah, these are all stolen. Yeah.
It's a nice looking burger, to be honest.
Yeah. So some it was some kid who had painted it and they looked nice. I thought, okay, I'll use the paintings. And I've got some roles so when I looked at the roles and I made up my content. So I looked at the role and I said, okay, that's your cheeseburger, your standard burger without any thrills or frills, with added tomato, onions, jalapenos, of course. And I even put one Indian roll there, an Indian delight, a vegetarian roll served with mint chutney and onions. So I just looked at the pictures and I sort of got that content to make it look a bit more realistic. So, and that's what I said. So when you do your exercise, just for the sake of learning, you want to sort of make it look very business-like, very professional. I haven't put a CSS. That's why my pages look very bad, and people might not come to my shop because it just looks too bland, white. I've not applied any CSS.
When you see how you got like the starting roll and the finishing roll,
Yeah.
on the sides next to like the 34, you got like a downwards and then
This arrow.
yeah, is that just me?
Oh, that's just the editor.
Okay.
That's just the editor. I can close this.
Oh, okay.
That's the editor saying I can.
More compact.
Yeah. That's this text wrangler It is Notepad++ for the Mac.
So what's the sort of like the rotated L on the end roll?
I don't know. It is just saying that it started here and it ended here.
Yeah, okay.
Start here. So this is Text Wrangler.
That would have been something cool.
Yeah, if I need a text editor, this is what I use. Now, I don't have any mastery over this tool, I'm afraid. I just use it like a typing tool. So, got the pictures, and the rest of the text is sitting here. That's it. So, let's go back and look at the structure again. So, if you look at the structure in JavaScript, XML test debugger. Now, we got our XML file, right? And we are going to read it. I've got 2 pages. I've got one page that reads burgers and one page that reads rolls. Okay, so I've got 2 HTML pages. So we are going to construct these HTML pages, or I'll walk you through it. So I've got my images, I've got my XML file, and I've got 2 pages. Okay, now we are getting into the domain of JavaScript. Okay, so is that clear so far? What's happened? Cool, Mikhail? Okay. My first JavaScript is a function. It is sitting externally in a JS file, which means that when I call it, and I'm going to open this with Text Wrangler as well. You can see here, if you look at this line, and let me try and get my text a bit larger so you can see here what is happening. Preferences, editing, line spacing, font size, keyword, languages, printing, colors, appearance. Make it 18. Does that help? No. Apple Plus. View, zoom in. No. Text Wrangler, preferences. I just want the text to be a bit more bigger. Default font, okay. So let me see if I can, yeah, 14. Yep, there you go. That's bigger. Okay, so we have been doing this. We have been putting a script tag, okay, and then ending a script tag, and we have been writing our code inside it, right? Cool. But no, I'll give it. Hang on. I just want you to understand what's happening here. If your JavaScript is sitting in an external file, you can do this. Instead of putting the JavaScript here, after your type tag, you can just say the source for this script is sitting here. So you can see, just like when you do image source, img src, same deal. So what you're saying here is that the source for this image JavaScript is sitting in this file, in this folder, and that's the file. Cool. Let's look at this file. This one is easy to understand, but let's look at the first one. So it's a function. That's the function. It is expecting a parameter. So when you call the function load XML doc, okay, when you call this function, you have to tell that function which file to load, and where to load it from. So you can see when it is called, when I do call it, see this? When I call this function, I tell him to go to XML folder and load site.xml.
That's the second sub that rolls on it. Is that the second sub that rolls on it, or is that?
No, this is the first page. This is the burger page. Okay. So the first thing you need to do, whether it's a burger page or a roll page, is you need to load that XML file. And the reason we have installed the server is because to load the XML file, it makes an HTTP request and it makes a request in two different types depending on the browser. So you see all of these requests that are there. So that's for the, I think, Internet Explorer browser. Otherwise, it makes this request. There are two types of, no, ActiveX is the Microsoft. So this request is if the browser is Internet Explorer, and this request is for all other browsers. Okay, it gets it and it sends it into the page. Now what we are going to do is when we call it, so this is there, and W3 Schools uses this one, so that's straight out of W3 Schools. Now let's look here. Okay, try to understand this line by line. We have already linked to the JavaScript file, which means we have access to this function. So we say, hey function, go to this folder, get this file and put it in a variable. That's it. We have put it in a variable XML doc. Now, and you will see somewhere down there, no, we are using, we also set another variable called burger simply because we don't want to type this again and again and again. You see this burg here? If I did not actually set up a variable called burger, and that's actually a variable just to be clear, if I did not set up a variable, I would need to type XML doc dot get element by ID, and this would become incredibly long. Okay, so we use variables also to shorten what we are going to use again and again. So this, once the doc file is loaded, inside the doc we are going to get element by tag name. You see the tags? So far we have been getting element by ID, but in our XML document, we have tags: starting tag, ending tag, starting tag, ending tag.
So it'll show all the ones that have the burger tag.
Absolutely. So it will actually take all the ones with the burger tag. Cool? Burger tag, and that's how we can put burgers and rolls in the same page. So when I actually do the roll page, this will become roll, right? And this will become roll, okay? And I can have 20 products in the same XML file. I could have men's fashion, kids fashion, women's fashion, starting men, ending men, and within men I can have product, description, price, you know. So depending on what I want from my XML document. Now, why do I need this function display info? I need this function display info because I don't have just one burger in my XML file. I need to extract this again and again and again. Okay? I need to extract the first burger, second burger, third burger. You might have 50 burgers and I don't even know how many burgers are there. Okay? Or you might, as a burger shop owner, you might want to just say, hey, this is easy, I'm going to add 20 more burgers, and the site should automatically update itself. Okay? And you will see it will. So, what we are saying is, we are going to start from 0. You will see when we actually use our for loop, we're going to start from 0. Okay? To burger length, we're going to start from 0 to wherever the burger length is, until burger.length. And I think it should be less than will work, because burger.length, if it's 5, yeah, it should be burger less than burger.length. It will keep on repeating. And what does it do? It calls this function. What does the function do? So now we are at burger 0. It goes and picks up pick 0, name 0, description 0, and price 0. Now these child nodes are always going to be 0. Let me explain this. See, that's burger 0. This is burger 0. This is burger 1. Okay? Under burger 0, this is pick 0, this is name 0, this is description 0, this is price 0. Cool? Now under burger 1, this is again pick 0 because we've gone to a new burger. Okay? He is still pick 0. If I had another pick under this, that would be pick 1. But I'm going only one level beneath my parent tag. So burger is going from 0, 1, 2, 3, but this is always 0, 0, 0. It's always the 0th one. We are saying the first picture underneath burger. Now if I had another tag, here, that would be pick 1, but I don't. Okay? You can have two pictures and you can extract the second picture as well. So you can have, for example, one more picture and with the same tag, and you can say under burger go for pick 1, child node 1. So we are just picking up the nodes under burger, and we are saying whatever you find, the node value of it, put it in my image. Now what is the node value of it? I'm doing something wrong here. What is the node value? What is the node value of pick? This is the node value of pick. Cool. So burger has a node called pick, and the value of it is burger 1. So I keep doing alt tab. Okay. So pick 1 goes and sits inside my image. The first time it is called. And then cheeseburger goes and sits inside my name. Okay, and the description goes and sits in my description, and the price goes and sits in my price. Now see here, my page is empty if it was not for this for loop. This for loop, and if I actually go here and say view page source, you can see I don't have any data on the page. See that? I don't have any pictures. I don't have any HTML. It's coming from this for loop. What does the for loop do? So we start at 0, and how far do we go? We don't know. We just say less than or equal to burger.length.
So you can. That's what you mean by you can have like peeps.
Yes, yes, and you don't have to change the code. You don't have to change the code at all. And I'm pretty sure it should be less than, because less than or equal to give one more. Yeah.
Within that line, you can limit to only show like the first 10.
Oh yeah. If I put 10, then I can limit my page to show only 10, irrespective of what. I can always tell the customer, you know what, put your 10. Like suppose you are doing promotional page,
Yeah.
and you can always tell the customer whatever you put on the top. So especially like let's say a dollars and cents shop, he's got like products, and he wants to put clearance items, and he says, oh, I got these items still on stock and I want to put them on top. He can just shuffle them around, and then the top 10 will come. Okay, it will read from the top. So you can say 10. Yeah. Increment it. What are you going to do? You're going to call the function. This function, you can see it takes the value of 0 for burger 0, value of 1 for burger 1, value of 2 for burger 2, and it keeps extracting the data, image, name, description, price. Now these ones here are the ones you have to match with your XML. These variables, you can call them anything. You can call them Aiden's pics, or you can call them Lachlan's name, whatever you feel comfortable with. But then when you write out your page, and we have seen this document.write, our friend document.write, you can see all I'm writing is my image inside a p tag. Let me make this simple. So that's a p tag, okay? So that's a p tag. Inside a p tag, I'm writing image source is equal to. Now whenever you need to use quotes inside quotes, okay, whenever you need to use quotes inside quotes, and this is valid even for PHP, you use backslash quotes, because this quotes is belonging to source, correct?
What's that getting if all your images are still attached to the other file?
Question again,
All
sorry.
your images are attached in the other file.
They're in the folder.
Yeah, so why is it getting, wouldn't that be getting it twice?
No. Because the first time it gets a name, see, it goes to picture, it gets the node value. What is the node value? The node value is just the name. Okay?
Okay, so it's got to actually ring the file.
Yes, the name is going into my image. And when I document.write, I'm saying source equal to images / my image. Whatever it gets, burger.image, Lachlan.image, Dilip.image, is going to put it there. Okay? So that's backslash quote for the images. And this quote here is to end. See this quote? This quote is to end this quote. You see this one? And then there's a plus sign to concatenate. and then there's a variable name and a plus sign. After we concatenate, we need a starting quote and an ending quote. That starting quote, that's an ending quote. This backslash quote is for the next one, width, and this is for, oh no, this backslash quote is to close the file name. So this one starts the file name, this one ends the file name, then width, quote 305, quote height 233, quote. So your width and your height, okay? So you put your width and your height. And the reason I put a style in here, style equals clear both, and I put a border, just so that 2 pixels solid black. I'll just put a, that was just so that I broke it. Okay, P. Okay, I just undid what I did. It was 2 pixel, border is 2 pixels solid. I'm just going to change that to black. This is just a style. This is just a style for my image, nothing else. And when I say clear both, it just drops it down. For example, I can say clear both. I can also give it a width. Width. Let's say my width is 305 pixels. So that's just my style. I'm applying my style. Now, Dimitri asked me a good question. Why do I put this div class equals content? I put that, and I put this end div so that if I want, I can style content, and I can give every content a border or something. Okay. So you see, if I have content here, I can actually go up here and I can style it. And that's the only reason. For example, if I go style / style and I go class content dot content and I start making it look pretty, let's say border 2 pixel solid, blue. Okay, so you can see I can start styling it. I can say I want padding of 5 pixels. I want a margin of 5 pixels, and I can also set my width. I can say my width to be 450 pixels. So the reason for that one is because I can start styling my boxes, nothing else. Okay. The reason for this first line is to give it a div, and here I've just styled it. I can put a class here for my paragraph. The reason is I don't want this text to come next to it. If I remove it, you'll see what happens. If I remove this style, because the top width is holding it, that's why. So if I actually make my top width 800 pixels, okay, it's not coming up. Fine, I'll leave it. But yeah, so that's the idea basically. It sort of will help you style it. But whatever you put in image, you put in this command document.write image source my image. Whatever you read from name, my name. Whatever you read from description, my description. Whatever you read from price, my price. And this does it repeatedly for the burgers. Okay. Now, when I make the roles page, I have to modify this to read roles. So let me show you my roles page. Where did my roles page go? Desktop, IDM, Web2, JavaScript, XML. So when I go to my roles page, I can say, okay, I've got a title, load the XML file, same deal, but this time get element by tag will be the second tag. So you need 2 pages in your dynamic website. Okay, 2 dynamic pages. So you'll have pages with 2 pages with dynamic content. It could be products, it could be accessories. Like he's going to sell bows and accessories for bows. So you read accessories, put it in a variable, and there's a function. Look at this. Now you're saying role 0 get its child. Now in your second page you may not have a picture, or you may not have a price, or you may not have a distinct description. So this will be based on whatever you have. So for example, I've got role. Now this can be totally different for a role, okay? It doesn't have to be the same. For a role, I may not have a picture, or I might just have a picture and a price, I might not even have a name. So for Excel, I might have a picture and a price. Picture, name, price. I mean, I don't need to have a description for onions, okay? So you don't want people buying onion extras if they don't want it, if they don't even know what it is. So in the role page, these things start getting modified, okay? So you're getting role, and that is going to go, I is really going to go from 0 to whatever length it is. So you start from 0 because the first node is 0, and you keep going until role.length, whatever, how many ever roles are there, and the same deal, it keeps getting these variables from the top. So you can see the for loop is going to call this function again and again. So display info 0, display info 1, display info 2, and that's what is going to go into burger 0, burger 1, burger 2, and get out the child node values, put them in variables, which you will start putting them here. And the way I do this is I first write my command in HTML. So I might actually write, my command has to look like this: image source is equal to quote image name quote width equals quote height equals quote alt tag equals quote. So alt tag, I might say it's a photo here, width maybe 325, height maybe 203. I'm just showing you how I construct my JavaScript statement. So that's what I want. Now when I start saying document.write, open function quote, and I have to close it at some point. Quote, close, and semicolon. Now I've got a quote here, okay, image source. Now I've got a second quote here. So backslash quote, and then I have another one, backslash quote. So I'm just going to put backslash quotes for all of these quotes which are inside. You see that? I'm just going to put backslash quotes for all of these guys which are inside, and
Or you could just do single quotes, yeah?
oh, you could do single quotes. That should work. And now this image name has to be a variable, right? So I must end this, put a plus sign, and start this. Okay, so that's how I construct my statement. I write what I want, and then I sort of break it down and I put it this way. And then I might think, oh yeah, I want a p tag in front of it, so I'll put a p tag in front of this. Okay, so I'll go in front and behind and I'll put a p tag. So that's how I construct it. Or I've given you a sample there, you can use it. I'll just comment this out, but yeah, that is. I'm going to stop the recording. It's gone on for 40 minutes.